Yeah, you thought I was frozen, didn't you? Okay, welcome to the Grand Delusion. I can't remember the rest of the lyrics, which is kind of sad because that was one of my favorite songs by Styx. For years, I thought they were singing the Grand Delusion, but no, it's the Grand Illusion. But I thought it applied given the state of affairs we're in. You've got a number of people, like I said, you got the wind tunnel test, the hairdo people, you got the way call, and the you know sitting there going, "Oh, look at us! Oh, we know what's going on." No, they don't. Anyone who looks you in the face and tells you they know exactly what's going on behind the scenes right now with the whole Doctor Who mess, I'll just blatantly call them liars because nobody knows what's going on at the moment. And it's apparent RTD doesn't even know what's going on. Yeah, somebody brought up about, you know, what's his nuts talking about the RTD interview. And I'm like, yeah, I did try to watch it. It was boring as hell. But of course, I was tempted to do, the Chris LD thing and watch it at 1.5 speed for research, like she did the classic series. But, and yes, they can't say anything because she did actually say that. It was in Doctor Who magazine, which was like, why the hell is this person on the time team? But okay, do they still do the time team or did that finally implode? Given the fact everybody was creepy or everybody was like, I don't know, there was a couple people who were mixed in with that stuff who just got obnoxious to the point I was shocked anybody could read it anymore. But well, I'm not gonna jump up and down on anybody else. It's not their fault. Like I said, I don't know what's going on either. I am not the grand high prophet of Doctor Who. I am not the, Maharishi El Gran Poobah of all knowledge. All I know is the last thing I was told is nobody knows what the hell's going on at this point. Um, there have been rumors. Um, the only thing, like I said, I've heard two different things from two people who have been, pretty reliable in the past, but the problem is those stories don't exactly coincide either. And it's not their fault either. I have not bothered to look for the plus 28 ratings because I believe there's no point. If they were going to announce anything by now, as much as I'd like to be, optimistic and say that's what they were waiting for, I honestly think in my brain, now keep in mind, this is opinion and speculation. I think RTD thought his writing and his presentation of the show was going to be so mondo spectacular that they were going to have a renewal notice right off the bat. Therefore, that's why he promised there was going to be no gap years, no this, no that. And it's like he'd underestimated the power of Disney Plus to screw things up, or Disney in general. Because Disney's done this, how many times now, where they'll either create a new series. You saw it a billion times with their animated stuff back in the day. They come up with this brand new animated series, you get all excited, you start watching it, not even a couple seasons later, they drop it like a bad habit. And like I said, they roll out DuckTales, Tailspin, and all these other animated series, and then they just completely lose interest in them. Yeah, I farted. Oh, Willow, that Willow series was like, oh my! Now I can understand why Mad Mortigan couldn't appear, given Val Kilmer's state of health at that time. But that whole storyline was just stupid. It's like it was. Here's the thing: it was so predictable, and I hate to use that evil woke word. It was just, but predictable is even worse. I'm like, okay, those two girls are going to be getting it on. That guy, they're gonna be getting it on, and Willow was more like a sidetrack than a main character. And I'm like I loved the movie Willow, but that series just had a lot left to be desired for. It just, yeah, it just, I don't know why they call stuff woke. What I can't stand is predictable. When it's gotten to the point you can see the formula at work, from like not even the halfway through the first episode. You know what's going to happen. All right, okay, they're going to get it. Those two girls are going to get it on. What do you call it? It's like, all I know is this. I'm glad they don't have the mess that's going on with Last of Us right now. You got two female leads that basically want to kill each other behind the scenes now, and one with an ego as big as their forehead. Oh. And you know who I'm speaking about, I assume. All right. Uh, well, the first season, all right, Guy, the first season, I highly recommend. Watch the first season. The first season was spectacular. Probably the best video game adaptation, other than Fallout. Fallout beat the shit out of everything as far as video game adaptations go, as far as I'm concerned. But the second season, don't watch it. The second season, all right, well, I don't want to give away too much, but there's something that happened in Game 2 that I was hoping they wouldn't do, but they did it anyway. And like I said, the first season was really good. The second season, it's like, wow, Ellie's head just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, and just like her ego, but all right. Of course they want a free P. Diddy. Have you seen what happened to baby oil sales after the stock in their company dropped? They busted Diddy. Oh, great. There goes a couple thousand gallons a year that we used to sell. I tried watching Sandman, and I couldn't make it past the first couple episodes. I was just bored shitless. I was expecting a lot more out of it. Maybe it was just me. Maybe you never know. I'll probably go back one of these days and watch it again and like it. Maybe I got too spoiled by Lucifer's adaptation of Lucifer. I don't know, but it turns out, yeah, the whole Joanna Constantine thing wasn't an effort to gender swap or anything like that. It's just the fact that the character of John Constantine is still so wrapped up in rights between his appearances on Arrow, what do you call it, Legends of Tomorrow, and all that, that they had no idea what was going left from right, right from left in the legal department. And I don't know why I put Doctor News on these things anymore, because we don't have any. I'm not kidding. I genuinely sometimes feel guilty now when I leave Doctor Who News on the tagline, because nobody knows what the hell's going on. You got a whole lot of people out there. I love how, some people I know of, are like kissing up to Ian Levine now, like he knows what's going on. He don't know what's going on either. And it's not like I, hate Ian Levine or anything like that. Like I said, I can pretty much agree with a lot of stuff he said now that went wrong. But like I said, I've been on the opposite sides of the table as far as opinions concerned with Ian Levine quite a bit. But I remember, yeah, he was one of the first ones to declare Doctor Who was dead in 2017 when Jodie Whittaker was announced. Yet then he watches Fugitive of the Jadoon and says it's one of the greatest episodes of Doctor Who he ever saw. And I'm like, so let me get... And, oh, by the way, for you folks who are keeping score, I'm not kidding. I want to put up a scoreboard in my room. But that would get a little too creepy. Because guess what? Jodie Whittaker just landed another acting job on another series. She's such a bad actress. So terrible. Yeah, I think we're looking at an indefinite hiatus. I don't think they have anything going on right now. The problem is the wishful thinking is that Disney's waiting now until the end of War Between the Land and the Sea to make an announcement. Guys, no, that's not how it works. War Between the Land and the Sea is a 5-part miniseries, and everyone's calling it was the big spinoff. I said, no, I don't think it was meant to actually go on more than one season. If it did, I'll be shocked. But I've heard about The Wire, but I've never seen it myself. So once again, watch Last of Us Season 1. But Season 2, you might just want to go ahead and leave off to the wayside. It's kind of like the Highlander movies. There can be only one. It's just... And yet they're going to try to reboot it again. It's like, folks, what happened is you had the right people in the right place at the right time. You had the right story, which was told, done, and completed in one presentation. And then they've tried to sequelize it, do this, do that. The series was okay until they came up with The Raven. I kind of didn't mind the TV series either until they diverged from the movie, trying to make it sound like, the Kurgan and all that was, dead and all that. No, the series should have ended with Duncan going off to fight the Kurgan. And then, of course, you know what happens from then on. You don't even have to see the fight, okay? Instead, oh, God, they had all these dumbass sequels. I never watched Endgame. After I heard the storyline for Endgame, I never wasted my money on it. I was like, no. And then they had that other one, The Circle, that made for Sci-Fi TV one. Oh, God, it was terrible. I know, I'm dying laughing because she just landed another acting job. Something on BBC One. She'll be playing a psychiatrist or a psychologist. And she's been landing jobs left and right and left. Yeah, and then, of course, Matt Smith sat there in Karen Gillan's pool house for how many years? Did a few shitty movies here and there, and then finally, of course, landed House of the Dragon. Oh, it was even better. Ramirez was born in ancient Egypt, was, working for the Spanish, yet he had a Scottish accent. But I don't care. I love the character of Ramirez. I thought it was well done. What freaked me out is a lot of people were like, the echoing in the opening narrative for the Highlander movie. That's because he read it in a bathroom. That was recorded by Sean Connery. They recorded that as Sean Connery reading the opening lines in a bathroom. The echo was the acoustics from the bathroom he was in. Yeah, the first Highlander movie was fantastic. I'm not kidding. Look that up. That opening sequence was read in a bathroom. The acoustics were from the bathroom he was in. I can't remember where the bathroom actually was, but it was read in a bathroom. Plus, when we got the American version, they cut out a bunch of stuff because we Americans were so stupid we'd have been easily confused by certain things, so I didn't get to see the full actual on Highlander movie, the full cut, until, it was quite a few years later. Where they put the Nazi Germany scene back in. I said that evil word, which means this video will be cut in its algorithm. And also they had cut out a lot of the certain flashback points at the beginning. Also, the movie wasn't even supposed to start there. Sadly, there's lost footage. And I can't remember why, but it was, remember when the cops were telling about the guy's head who got cut off in New Jersey? That was the Kurgan cut off I believe it was this Asian fellow's head working in New Jersey, and that's where the movie was supposed to begin. And there was a scene where, what's her name, finally gets to see the katana, and that was never made it either. All I've seen are images of that. I don't think the footage still exists, but if you have the Immortal edition of the Highlander movie, the steel-jacketed one, that came with all those little things in the back, in the options. You could look at all that stuff. But for some reason, that scene never made it into the movie where she finally got to see the katana and all that stuff. But she got to see Connor's Claymore. But okay, well, we're coming up on time here. Once again, let me reiterate this before I go. Anyone who looks you in the face and tells you they know exactly what's going on with Disney Plus and Disney right now, they're full of shit. I'll only say that right now. Because they don't even know what's going on right now. Okay? Yeah, Highlander 2 was shitty. It was dumb. It should have never happened. Period. But Mulcahy pissed on his own masterpiece. But let's get off that. Once again, if they tell you they know what's going on behind the scenes with BBC One and Disney Plus, they're full of shit. We should have had, if there was going to be a continuance of the series with Disney Plus, it'd have been all over the news by now. So all I can only assume is there's negotiations going on, or they just outright said no. One story I've heard is they want to continue the series, but they want Bad Wolf and Russell T Davies out. And like I said, I'm taking that as hearsay for the moment. And that's all we have. So until tomorrow morning, please be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everyone. And we'll catch you all hopefully tomorrow in the parking lot. Take care, everyone.